Yes, y'all, and you don't stop.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy talk. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Namaste, friends. What's happening? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I do hope you're doing well, mate. Really do hope that. Welcome back to, I suppose, Chelsea news. For in this video, we're speaking about some captaincy stuff. Everyone's read that article on The Independent about Joshua Chimpong maybe going to Real Madrid or Paris Saint-Germain. Fury has ensued. And yes, Samu Omorodion has split opinion across the Chelsea fan base. Poor guy, poor young man, already getting some sort of negative slander around him not being an exciting player in his profile, which I think is simply untrue. And we're going to look at him again on X Value, but I'm trying out an upgrade on X Value, which is the platform I use my stats. It's very expensive. So let's see what we can think. We're going to use some AI to learn a little bit more about the striker. Many of you guys would have looked at highlights and stuff, and that's cool, but we're going to learn a little bit more here today together and talk about it a little bit as well, mate. So, as always, thank you for joining me. I love you all very much, and do really appreciate you coming on down to hang around with me, your host Jan here on Football Therapy. So cheers for that, mate. Thanks for liking and subscribing, and yes, let's get into it. Alright, mate, let's quickly start. Gary Jacob of the New York Times has published an article about Enzo Fernandez, the leadership role, despite his video controversy. Of course, that's all been forgiven now with the French players in the Chelsea camp. Everyone's happy. He's donated money. He's apologized, unlike the other Argentinian players. And we've all learned and we've all grown and moved on. So, apparently he still represents a leadership role, and I don't hate it, provided he has, been educated and moved on from the messy business. I've been very firm of how I like he's got that combative South American midfielder vibe, and despite being quite a cultured player, maybe more akin to Cesc Fabregas on the ball, but he has got that sort of bit of grit. I always reference that, game against Man United where he was squaring up to the players and none of the other Chelsea players were joining him, which I was very disappointed about. And he'd been at Chelsea at that point for like weeks or months. So yes, he's sort of going to lead you into war, I think, and he's expected to be appointed as one of Chelsea's vice captains for next season. Now, on the captaincy, I've obviously spoken about this and my opinion on it many, many times. I've not got a problem with Reece James. I think Reece James is possibly our best player. I still think that. He also loves Chelsea. He absolutely loves Chelsea. And that's really important. I did have reservations / do have reservations of Reece James in terms of his representation, in terms of communication. He's very quiet, Reece. I know you could talk about doing your talking on the pitch, but if you look at John Terry, but even like Cesar Azpilicueta, like how he represented and spoke about the club like a professional. I know they're older, but how JT wasn't that when he was made captain, I don't think. Anyway, I feel like different characters and different leadership leaders in the squad, in the team, in the starting 11 is really, really important, and it's positive to see that Enzo Fernandez is representing one of those as well as it's all very well like giving the English boys like Chilwell, James and Gallagher, giving them the vice captaincies, but stick a South American in there, mix it up. Different cultures, Axel Disasi apparently is emerging as a bit of a captain, but obviously for him to be an actual leader, he'll have to be involved in the team a lot, and we're yet to see who's going to thrive under Enzo Maresca. We had to see Chelsea play well, really, under Enzo Maresca, but let's all keep our powder dry for that one, mate. So moving on, of course, Miguel Delaney, or Migs, as he's fondly referred to by the other journalists in the industry, has published on The Independent this story about Joshua Chimpong, saying this: Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain are looking at the highly rated Chelsea youngster Joshua Chimpong as they seek to sort out their future right-back positions. Of course, Chimpong, the 18-year-old, is moving into first-team football and is tipped for big things at Stamford Bridge, but his status as an academy graduate in a squad that already features 44 professionals means he has become a player that the club would consider selling. Not loaning, selling. I mean, you don't loan to Real Madrid or PSG, a youngster, do you? You don't loan to them generally. Particularly with how profit and sustainability rules ensure such fee would go into the account. So here it comes. Pure profit. Chelsea's pursuit of this policy, the pending exit, of course, Conor Gallagher to Atletico Madrid, is known to have caused ripples among the club's underage teams. A series of major European clubs have already identified this situation as offering opportunity amongst some of England's bloated squads, and both Madrid and PSG lead the way in pursuing Chimpong. I'm going to tell you my thoughts on this in just a moment, but let's read the rest of the article. This all becomes as the wealthiest clubs increasingly pivot towards signing the best young talent, in the manner of the likes Borussia Dortmund and Sevilla used to make their speciality. There is a belief that that Man United's 60 million purchase of Lenny Yoro from Lille has set a benchmark for that profile of player. The 18-year-old centre-half's price was so high due to the factors of his potential for growth and the knowledge his wages will be low, meaning clubs are essentially investing as well. Investing in youth. Bluco have basically, as soon as they bought Chelsea, they were like, youth is massively undervalued. We're going to buy loads of youth. And I tell you what, look, they also said, we're going to win, you know. So they're not keeping all their promises so far. But I tell you what, in terms of investing into youth, yeah, they were not joking. I mean, Gabriel Meck is another player about to buy that we've not, you know, Caleb Wiley, Renato, just kids everywhere. I tell you what, for anyone who didn't believe them that they were going to heavily invest in youth, that's one promise they ruddy well kept. Boy howdy. Of course, the difference between Chimpong and Lenny Yoro is he's played 60 senior games, Lenny Yoro. And Real Madrid looking at him as well before. Chimpong is seen to be a similar profile of player who can also play in the centre-half position as well as right-back, with the only difference being the lack of minutes, of course, for Josh. And he's coming for a major Premier League club rather than the French League. As such, both Real Madrid and PSG are eyeing a potential fee for around 15 million euros. It goes on to talk about here how, you know, PSG want a deputy for Achraf Hakimi. Real Madrid want a deputy for Dani Carvajal. In fact, Real Madrid have sniffed around Reece James a few times before to replace to be the successor to Carvajal, as well as Man City have sniffed around Reece James to be the successor for Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker himself, of course, the Man City right back, has named Reece James the best right back in the world. That's not named Kyle Walker. I'm sure many of you have seen that video. High praise from the England right back. So yes, Josh Chimpong is highly, highly rated at Chelsea. People think he's the business, you know. It goes on to talk about PSR rules here. Chelsea could be faced to sell him 15 million. I don't know, you know, and pure profit's such a big thing. Let's talk about this. First of all, would Chelsea be tempted? I'd have to say yes, because everything we've learned about, you know, we love pure profit. So I don't love pure profit. The club loves pure profit. You know, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Lewis Hall, Livramento we got a small fee for, I think. Mason Mount, Conor Gallagher, Breuer, Trevor Chalobah, just everyone, you know, juicing up those books because they feel like it's a way to get ahead. Look, it won't cause as many headlines as Conor Gallagher because of Conor Gallagher's, like, you know, importance under Pochettino. And of course, we have Reece James and Malo Gusto. I know Malo Gusto's been playing on the opposite flank sometimes. Maybe Enzo's trying to get them both on the pitch. Fair enough, I kind of get it. Do you know what I mean? Although I do think when Cucurella comes back in as a player who can just so comfortably invert into the midfield, I think you'll see Reece James start, Cucurella start and invert, and, you know, Malo be a backup to either side. We don't know what's going to happen with Reece James. Ben Chilwell. We don't know what's going to happen with Ben Chilwell, of course. It can still be sold, which would be sad, but... So the fact is we're covered in many, many ways there. And Joshua Chimpong is just like 15 million quid for, you know, a position we're like feel really comfortable in. Great. Chelsea do rate him highly, though. The young player, I don't know, I'd feel pretty bad about selling him, especially for so... If it was 20 million, I'd be like, ooh, I could understand why they'd be so tempted. And you're not selling him to Man United, Arsenal, whatever. He's going abroad to Real Madrid or PSG. Kind of cool in that sense, I dig it. But I'd prefer us not to sell him. I do understand, though, Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? It's tricky. Yeah, I'd prefer us not to sell them because unless it's like an offer we can't refuse, I feel like we can refuse 15 million euros and keep him around. And we're going to play 70 odd games this season. I'd keep him around the first team / development team, give him more minutes. And, and we can learn a little bit. It also offers us the opportunity to learn a little bit more about Maresca ball, what position we need, who can play these positions well, rather than selling off a massive talent before we've even seen how the new manager plays. He might be like, yeah, these guys are all great, but I do see Gusto as a left back for some reason. From now on, he's just going to train there. Reece James needs to be rotated. Joshua Chimpong will get minutes. Then, yeah. You'd feel fuming we sold him for so little as well. Let me know what you think about these links, Joshua Chimpong to PSG and Real Madrid, and let's move on, mate. Right, so we got the here we go for Samu Omorodion, the Spanish 20-year-old striker who's a very, it's a unique profile. He's a bit of a throwback profile, really. And he's catching a lot of heat. People on social media are using the Lukaku phrase as a derogatory term in terms of his play style. He obviously didn't have an elite output, but like Lukaku's a great player. Like, I think Lukaku is a bit of a knob, right? But that's only because of his behaviour. As a player, I think he's excellent. I think he's been misused for the majority of his career, and I think when he's cooking, he's an absolute animal. Like just even recently, was it when Was it the friendly when we played Belgium when Lewis Dunk absolutely shit himself when Lukaku was running at him and then Lukaku did the outside the boot assist? Like, he did that with, Lautaro Martinez. He got like double digits of league assists when he got loads of goals as well. Look, this is not a Lukaku love fest. Let's get that guy gone. But the truth is, respect footballers that are good, man. Anyway, Samu Omorodion is a young player. He's 20 years old. Atletico Madrid didn't want to sell him. That's why they waved us away with a 70 million price tag. And of course, certain things have happened. Gallagher's gone there. They've managed to find a way to sign Alvarez. And then they've sold Samu to us for 35. So we've ended up selling Gallagher for more money than we were going to buy Samu for. And Samu was originally being quoted as 70 million to us. And we've got him for half of that. In a strange turn of events. Now, I wouldn't have bought him because I don't know who the heck he is. I don't watch, but this is a guy that the sporting directors were like, yeah, he's our guy. He's who we want. He's whether you like it or not, we'll look at the stats in a second. Whether you like it or not, this is what the great machine spat out of them when they put the parameters in. They was like, ding, 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 buy this guy or John Duran or Sam, but they decided Samu above Duran. He's our guy. He's who we want to buy. Sure, Victor Osimhen, he's a shirt seller. He's a brand increaser. And that's the other thing. Of all the 7 or 8 signings we've made this summer, who is the shirt seller? And no disrespect to Keane and Dewsbury Hall, who cost 30 million quid. Yeah, who's selling shirts out of all these signings that we bought? Legit no one. Do you know what I mean? Maybe the hipsters will go for Mark Yu, who's a £5 million acquisition because it's a cool, bit of a hit, point in time. We don't know if he's going to flop or if he's going to become good, and it's an interesting shout. But there's no shirt sellers there. So I get it. Look, Victor Osimhen isn't dead in the water. I still think Chelsea are in a strong negotiating position because we hold the cards now against Napoli. Lukaku doesn't want to play. He's desperate to go. He's halved his wages. He's agreed terms with Napoli. We've got strikers, bro. We've got Gu, we've got Omorodion, we've got Jackson, we've got Nkunku who can play in the middle. We're going to be okay. They don't have strikers, bro. Osimhen isn't training with Napoli. Conte won't. He wants Lukaku, no one else. So in that sense, we've got all the cards. I do have a feeling we'll just. I don't think. I'm 70% sure we don't. Maybe more. 80% sure we don't. 80% sure we don't sign Osimhen, even on a loan. Could happen, but I'm pretty sure we won't. I think we'll go Saudi or PSG will come back in, and I do think Lukaku will go to Napoli. We'll find a way to get Lukaku to Napoli, but I don't think we'll get Osimhen, which is a shame. But I was looking on Twitter X, Felix Johnson was saying, I hope we don't sign Osimhen now because we've got Samu, and he's a big fan of Samu. So, yeah, the main. We're lacking the dopamine hit, the inner FIFA child that wants the big names, and the shirt seller. Victor Osimhen, 9, Chelsea. But then again, I got gassed when we signed Higuain, number 9, and, you know, of course Lukaku and stuff like that. So it's never, you know, doesn't always make total sense. Right, so I'm going to show you some stats now. Again, I told you on the upgraded version of X Value, which has got an AI assistant that's given us a conclusion on the player he is. But let's take a little look to remind you guys now. Okay, so I think we looked at it yesterday or the day before. So as you can see, it's heat map there on the right-hand side. Interestingly, even though he's a target man, he spends most of his time for Alaves in those 2 pockets. It's sort of like in the, not in the hole, but sort of those inside 10 positions where he receives the ball. And then he sort of moves forward. As you can see there on his performance spider chart, very, very strong with shooting. Very, very strong with aerials and quite strong with carries as well. Not great with creativity like passes and assists. Well, his recoveries don't exist, but that would have been a playstyle thing. Now, as you can see here on the left-hand side is player functions, right? So this shows you he's 73.5% of a target man, and he's a 26.5% all-around finisher. So he's not like a he's the opposite to a Julian Alvarez, who people kind of wanted to speak about. He will offer something completely different to the forwards we've got now. He's very big, he's very strong, he's very fast, and he's an excellent at getting shots away, right? We'll look at that a little bit more. As you can see, key metrics by player cluster. So like, similar players of his type. His key metrics is he takes touches in the opposition box, so you can get the ball to him in the defensive box and he'll get involved. His open play shots is very strong. Headed shots is strong as well, and his offensive aerials, essentially winning the ball when you put a ball in the box. A proper meat and potatoes number 9, which to be fair, we haven't had for a while. We thought that was Lukaku, but that isn't really Lukaku's game. Lukaku wants to play over the game in front of him and kind of run down that right channel. Samu is a centre forward, mate. He's a proper centre forward in profile. As you can see here on his advanced stats, we've seen this before. His non-penalty XG, very, very strong. But yeah, his shooting is what makes him strong here, right? So he is in the 90th percentile for non-penalty expected goals. So he's in the top 2%, despite being only 20 years old and playing for Alaves. He's in the top 2% of elite strikers for non-penalty XG. So he's obviously underperforming his XG, but he takes such a high volume of shots and he puts himself in lots of goal-scoring situations, right? And again, he's in the 100th percentile for the XG per shot, non-penalty expected goals per shot. So his shooting metrics are so strong. And finally, I want to take a look at this, right? So this is a conclusion on X Value, right? It says this about Samu. Samu Omorodion had a productive season with Alaves, demonstrating his capabilities as a hybrid forward with strong emphasis on being a target man. His physicality and aerial prowess make him a valuable asset in the attacking third, while his ability to get into good scoring positions and take high volume of shots underscores his goal-scoring potential. Potential, the word, right? However, there's room for improvement with his shot positioning and chance creation for teammates. Overall, Omorodion's contributions have been significant, and his blend of styles adds a dynamic element to their offensive play. Alright, so basically, in terms of like, yeah, he's not creative in assisting his teammates. That's kind of fine. We're not kind of buying him as that profile of player. But again, he's 20 years old. You know, in 2 years, he'll still be very young at 22. Okay, Mudrik's 23. That's for context about these young players that we've got. So 20 to 22, he could sort out his, combinational play assisting and creativity. But you're buying him predominantly as a target man, as this proper number 9, as this striker that can do a job, right? That can do a job for you there. And he's really, people like opposition defenders bounce off him. He's very fast despite being very big, and he gets shots away all the time. And if there's one thing that I'm so big on is volume of shots for a team. Like Liverpool scored so many goals, but they missed so many chances, but they still scored so many goals purely because they have such a ridiculously high volume of shots last season. Like, it was crazy how many shots they had. And yeah, they make people joke about, you know, Nunez missing shots and this, then everyone missing or whatever. You laugh at it. But then you're like, oh, well, they scored loads of goals still. Because they're not just passing the ball around going, like Chelsea in the final third, worrying, like, oh, we don't have the perfect chance. We don't have the perfect chance. No, they just lash it loads. I know, like, some coaches don't like that because you don't want to give up potential for a turnover or a goal kick or whatever. But yeah, I'm big on that volume of shots. So he does that, and that's very, very important to me. Truth is, guys, this is a striker that was quoted 70 million. We got for 35 million. He's young. He's good. We really wanted him. You know, you might not have wanted him personally, but the club, the project wanted him, and we got him. So, yeah, give him a chance, man. You know, don't judge him straight away. Let him have a chance to settle in. Appreciate what he brings in his unique profile. And let's hope for the best that we've got another, like, you know, Nico Jackson that would, you know, Nico Jackson's value on CIES Observatory now is 100 million. A year after buying 33 million. Good business, baby girl. Let me know what you think, as always. Thank you for joining me. Of course, it's a bit longer video today, but it's a lot of stuff I wanted to get through. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Turn the bell on if you choose to subscribe, and I do hope to see you back here very soon. All right, peace.